Okay, folks, welcome back again to Three's In. Next up on the hit parade is TK. Now, TK was a T-37 tweet pilot assigned to the Wing Safety Division when I was the Chief of Safety. He was a nice enough guy, pleasant, cordial. I never flew with him. Well, wait a minute, I did fly with him once in the 38 on a staff assistance visit. I might find a place to tell you what that trip was like. I might interject that in here. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Anyway, TK was a Nitnoy guy. He paid so much attention to Nitnoy stuff that some of the big stuff just kind of went by him. But good God, would he have the minutia nailed. At any rate, it's just his nature, just the way he was. One year at Christmas, his wife gave him one of these all-seeing, all-dancing desk things. It had a clock, it had temperature on it, had his name, of course, a selection of 2 or 3 pins, a couple pencils stuck around the place. I mean, this thing was deluxe. And had an alarm on it, of course. So he developed the habit of setting his alarm about 15 minutes prior to a flight that he was going to have. 15 minutes prior to the briefing time over in the squadron. Now, the squadron was about a 3-minute walk across from our building in Wing Safety to the T-37 squadron. So TK would set the alarm clock 15 minutes prior to brief time. When it would go off, that gave him 5 to 7 minutes to put everything away, so everything was neat and orderly, and grab his flying gear, his checklist and so forth, in-flight guide, and then head across the street to go flying. Did this all the time, drove us nuts. When Mikey and I would get, it was about 2 o'clock, we had a 2:15 brief for a 3:15 takeoff. We just got up, grabbed our hat, walked over, Anyway, when we came back, everything was laid out on the desk just like we left it. So this one day, Mikey and I go over to the all-seeing, all-dancing clock, and we set it at 1:45 when TK went around. So 1:45 rolls around, the alarm goes off, and without thinking about a thing, TK reaches up, turns the thing off, straightens up his desk, puts everything away, puts the pens and the pencils back in our respective holders, grabs his flying checklist and his in-flight guide, hat and his sunglasses, and starts walking across the street. When we walk over to the window to keep an eye on him, he gets about halfway across the squadron and stops. It finally dawned on him, where the hell am I going? What am I doing? Don't know what his thought process was at that time, really didn't care. But he did stop, thinking about it for a minute, but his clock can't be wrong. And so he just continues heading over. Mike and I were rolling on the floor so hard on that one, and we made sure we were both gone by the time he figured it out and came back. I had a staff assistance visit one time up in the northern tier bases, K.I. Sawyer, Ward Smith, and maybe Grissom, I think. We had T-37 ACE, Accelerated Co-Pilot Enrichment, I think is what the acronym was for. And what they would do is they would take T-38s and T-37s and fly those at SAC bases, at bomber and tanker bases, because it was cheaper to fly the 38 than it was to fly a tanker for the guys to get stick time. So we had those bases under our purview. We were responsible for them. So I stuck TK in the back seat of a 38 one day as the chief of safety and took off up north. We had to visit them. The best time to visit those bases was during the summer, because if a blizzard came in, we were stuck. We couldn't fly in icing. But be that as it may, TK and I go up there, and then this one morning we went over to Wordsmith. Now, I loved flying that airplane on the edge, the T-38. I loved it. I mean, I just loved it. I loved being out there. And so when I came around the final turn, I was pulling it pretty good. And we were getting some pretty decent buffet on the airplane. It was not buffet that I was alarmed about, But it was talking to me. You know, I knew I was just right where I could go, and I didn't want to pull it any further because bad things would happen. But anyway, as we come around the final turn, the thing's growling at us. TK says, "Hey, Bob, the airplane's in the buffet." And I said, "Well, thanks for telling me. I'm sitting up here clueless." Anyway, I just kept pulling it. Matter of fact, I might have added power and pulled a little harder. But anyway, the thing is just rocking and rolling. He said, "Bob," he says, "I've got my hands on the hand grips. If you tell me to go, I'm gone." Oh, Jesus Christ. At that point, I relaxed the back pressure and pulled off the power and just flew it around, and may have even gone around because I was so tight. Anyway, I came back around and flew a lame overhead pattern. He was fine with it. But when he told me, "Bob, I have my hands on the hand grips, just give me the signal, I'm gone." Oh, good Lord. So anyway, that was TK. God bless him. Takes all kinds, doesn't it?